Yes, the Castanovians. All right, boys. In this live stream, I want to just supply you with everything that I've learned having started cold approaching people around 14 years ago. So, when I was 13 years old, I made the decision to become a magician. I spent a decade of my life traveling around the country and Europe, approaching people to perform magic. And then at 23 years old, I made the decision to immerse myself in the world of daytime cold approach. At the time, I didn't know what I was doing. I was shit scared to get started. I was far from the man who I wanted to be. Those of you who know my story, you know the classic look like a turnip, dress like a moron, porn addict, erectile dysfunction. You know the story. And yeah, now at 27 years old, it's fair to say I've spent my time in the trenches and I aim to put these live streams out there just to break through all of the bullshit. I think there's a lot of nonsense online for guys who have no fucking idea what they're talking about, giving guys advice on how to cold approach, how to meet women organically, and they never you never see them actually outside in the field practicing what they preach. So, yeah, full transparency, I've got no bullshit course to sell you. I don't have the classic $997 course. I'm not trying to funnel you into some low ticket school community like, oh, bro, sign up $47 a month. It'll change your fucking life. I don't have any of that nonsense. I just have one really expensive coaching offer. It's called the Entourage. It's like my inner circle, my private community for guys who are serious about skyrocketing this skill set to the moon, becoming the most fuckable version of themselves, and just developing that rock star confidence by associating themselves with other like-minded individuals. It's really expensive. I don't expect you to buy it, but I've got free courses and you can download those. They're in the description. So yeah, I've deliberately made this title hyperbolic, like I cold approach 900,000 and whatever it was women. It's probably fair to say like I've done a lot of cold approaches, many of which are documented on this channel. And throughout this live stream, I'm going to be dropping so many nuggets of valuable wisdom that the whole intention of this live stream is just to make this free video better than everybody else's paid content. And if you actually implement the things and really internalize the things that I'm about to teach you, it's going to save you so much time, so much hassle, so much wasted energy and missed opportunities. Feeling as though, oh, I'm banging my head against the brick wall. I've bought this course. I signed up for this guy's coaching and nothing's changed. I'm just going to give you the real shit here. Hopefully, some of the things that I say will trigger you and make you angry or upset because pain is information, right? Pain is information. So when we get triggered by something, that is the world explaining to us that we are not free in a certain area. And then we use that pain to progress into becoming the version of us who we need to become to get the results that we want. Does that make sense so far? Cool. So, how do you actually get results from daytime cold approach? I think it's important to define what results actually is. A lot of people are like, oh, I'm going to get you results. Yeah, but what does that actually mean, right? Socrates said the beginning of wisdom is a definition of terms. Results is individual, right? It's really what do you want from daytime cold approach, right? Like, do you want a long-term girlfriend? Do you want to have a rotation of girls? Do you want to have multiple dates a week? Do you want to lose your virginity? Do you want to find that wife-worthy woman who you can do life with? I think that before even getting started with this process, you want to get super clear on what it is that you actually want. Yeah, like what do you really, really want? And this is, well, I'm just going to put the AC on. This is a question that whenever guys book in for a free application call to work with me one-to-one, this is really what I want to get to know. I don't want the surface level information. I don't want the, oh, I just want to be a bit more confident. Oh, it would be nice if I found a night. Like, tell me what you really want, because whatever you want, I will get that for you. But we need to be clear on what it is that we actually want. Yeah, so it's like, what is the pain that you're experiencing? Maybe you're lonely. Maybe you're super low on confidence. Maybe you're grappling with a perceived lack of self-worth and you're trying to find salvation in the feminine. Maybe you've not got laid for the past 10 years. Maybe you're a virgin and that is castrating you of your confidence. get clear on where the pains are, and then get clear on what you actually want. I think that's like step zero. Like, why are you getting involved with this? It's like, why do you want to start a business? Like, why do you want to make lots of money? Why do you want to get that fancy sports car? Usually it's embedded in trauma. That's what I find. So maybe like me, you didn't have any romantic relationships growing up. Maybe like me, you always felt invisible. Maybe you always felt like the ugly duckling inside. And even now, you have leveled yourself up. It's like you still feel like the ugly duckling inside. It's like the internal hasn't caught up with the external. And when you see women who you want to talk to, you think too many steps ahead, you reject themselves on your behalf, on their behalf, and you just don't go in for those approaches because of the perceived lack of self-worth that you're grappling with. But I think that it's like Nietzsche said, he who has a strong enough why can bear any house. Like, once you know what it is that you want, it goes from I want to I commit, right? So let's say you want a girlfriend. I commit to getting a girlfriend through cold approach. That's great. Even better is I commit to becoming the version of myself who is capable of attracting a gobsmackingly gorgeous girlfriend through cold approach, right? Intention leads to creation. It's better to commit to something and say, I want something. The universe doesn't give a fuck about what you want. I don't give a fuck about what you want. I give a fuck about what you commit to. And when you set that commitment out there, the universe is going to give you opportunities to prove yourself. So if you say, I commit to becoming the most fuckable version of myself who's capable of attracting a wife-worthy woman, then the universe is going to be like, all right, you little motherfucker, here's opportunities, right? So maybe you leave your house that day and you see a woman walking past you on the street. Like, she could be the wife-worthy woman. Remember, you're only ever one approach away from your entire life changing. You're only ever one approach away from your wildest fantasies becoming your new reality. It's like you need to step into that identity by taking massive action. So like step one or step zero is like getting clear on who you want to be. This is what I've learned by doing a shitload of approaches, coaching guys, changing lives, like changing my life, changing the guys of hundreds of guys all across the world. Is getting clear on what you want, what do you commit to, and then who do you need to become to actually achieve this vision, right? So that's like step zero. That's super important. Don't skip this part. Don't skip the identity part, because it's like, if you could already be living your ideal dating life, you would already be doing it, right? We're all self-made. The only people who want to admit that they're self-made are the people who are proud of their lives. So if you're not happy right now with the life you're living, the women you're dating, and the man who you've become, then you need to metaphorically crucify this current version of you and elevate into the version of yourself who can achieve these things. If you want a clear step-by-step roadmap for doing that, download my Most Fuckable Man course. It's a free course. It gives you everything you need for rewiring your internal system, mindset mastery, becoming the most fuckable version of yourself internally and externally. It's the course I wish had been created for me when I first started this stuff, because I could have made a lot of progress a lot faster, but c'est la vie. The course is available to you now. It's free, so you can download it after you watch this live stream, and I'll go super deep on this whole like inner game personal renaissance process. Okay, I spoke about taking massive action. Okay, so now we know what we want. So let's say you want a girlfriend, right? So you've committed to getting a girlfriend through cold approach. Right, cool. Now your actions need to align with your ambition. So massive action. What this means in super practical detail is you do 100 direct cold approaches as fast as possible. Right now, if you watch these live streams a lot, you'll find that I repeat myself quite frequently, right? Reiteration is consolidation. Oftentimes, we forget what we've learned and we become products of what we've forgotten as opposed to what we've just learned, right? Because like the default mode kicks in. That's why I do these live streams every single day. It's to remind you of things that you've forgotten. 100 direct cold approaches. That is like the number which, once you've done 100 direct cold approaches, you'll start to develop proficiency, right? For those of you who don't know, I'm currently training Muay Thai out here in Bangkok, Thailand. I know the only way for me to become a proficient fighter is through reps, is by turning up to the fight gym, like even when I don't want to, right? Even when I'm not in the mood. Like I've trained like 4 times this week. I did 5 sessions last week. I've got this massive bruise on my leg because Yesterday I got to train with just a really like top level fighter here in Thailand. He didn't hold back. He absolutely annihilated me. It was really fucking fun. Massive bruise. Like that's what true self improvement looks like. But massive action. Not what I want. What do I commit to? I commit to showing up to that gym, even especially when I don't feel like it, because that's what that multi-millionaire, most fuckable version of me would do, right? So it's not chasing a goal. It's chasing an identity. 100 direct cold approaches, right? That's what it takes to develop proficiency. In my experience, like I always say to guys, one approach with me is worth about 30 approaches on your own. So once you work with me in person and I've coached you through 4 approaches, then you're gonna have made way more progress way quicker than if you were doing this on your own. But let's imagine that you are doing it on your own right now. Maybe finances are tight, maybe your ego's too big, maybe you're like, oh, I can do it all on my own. Fine. I didn't do it all on my own. Yeah, it's like trying to become a great Muay Thai fighter by teaching yourself on YouTube. It's like, you need the accountability, you need pressure, you need people to call you out on your bullshit because you don't know what you don't know right now. So let's imagine that you are aiming to do your first 100 direct cold approaches on your own, okay? You can get all of these done in a week if you're strategic about it. Obviously, it depends on the city that you live in, your work schedule, the foot traffic. Anyway, 100 direct cold approaches. And then when you're doing these approaches, make sure that when you do go out there, record the audio of as many of these conversations as possible because you don't know what you don't know. You can't hear what you can't hear and you can't see what you can't see. So if you can record the audio of your conversations, just use a voice recorder app on your phone, capture the audio through your headphones. That's going to give you a point of reference. You're going to learn where you're going wrong because usually there's a kaleidoscope of reasons why your conversations suck balls, right? It could be speaking too fast. You might be giving off a creepy vibe. Maybe you're asking too many questions. Maybe you're not building enough sexual tension. Your conversations feel as flat pack. Maybe you just have this gay best friend type of vibe because you're nervous and you're scared and I don't know, maybe maybe you're gay. I don't know. So that'll be interesting. Gay game. Anyway, doesn't matter. So yeah, 100 direct cold approaches. Record the audio of as many of these conversations as possible. That's going to give you a point of reference. And then every successive time you go out there to cold approach, you pinpoint one thing that you want to improve. So maybe if you're speaking too fast, which is most of the guys who I work with, everybody always speaks too fast. It's normal. Your intention for the session ahead is, okay, I'm going to go out today and I'm going to commit to doing 5 direct cold approaches in 45 minutes. And every approach that I do, I'm going to aim to speak like half of the speed that I spoke last time. Again, record these audios. That'll give you a point of reference. This is what I get my guys to do. So like once we've worked together in person and I've given my guys the playbook, I've held them accountable for their actions. Like I've given them everything that they need. What's important for me is they get access to our private WhatsApp group. They get invitations to weekly group coaching calls. They get direct access to me on WhatsApp. So what I say to them is, listen, whenever you go out for sessions, record the audio of some of your conversations and send them over to me. What this does is it gives them accountability for their actions. So if they say to me, Kristian, I'm going to go out this weekend and I'm going to commit to doing 5 direct approaches. I'm going to send you the audio of at least one of them. Now they've got the accountability. Now they have to do it, right? Because like their actions must align with their ambitions because of the accountability. But also it gives them a point of reference as well. Like you can create, like this is what I did when I first started this 4 years ago. I just created this like audio library of recordings. Like I started in Leeds in 2020 during the pandemic when all I knew was face masks and social distancing. So like I really don't accept anybody who gives me the excuse like, oh, Kristian, I can't cold approach in my city. It's only got like 30,000 people. It's like, dude, at the start of this year, I was living with one of my clients, Ephraim, in Paphos, Cyprus. We made it work. There's like 40,000 people that were living there. Like, just do the best with what you've got. And like, you can hop on a train, you can go to other cities. This is what I did. When the restrictions were getting lifted, I was in Leeds, so I was going to Manchester, Newcastle, Edinburgh, Glasgow, York, Cambridge. Like, I was going everywhere. Like I was ferocious. Like that's really the main thing with any skill. Like any skill that you want to master, it's not doing your best, but doing what is necessary. Right? Not doing your best, but doing what is necessary. It comes to desire. Like how much you actually want this. Yeah, because a lot of guys, they say that they want something. Oh, I want money. Oh, I want a girlfriend. But it's like they don't really want it. Otherwise, they'd have it, or they'd be really going hard to acquire the thing, right? So it's like tenacity beats talent, like drive, desire, determination, like really committing to that ideal version of you and not stopping until you've got it. Like, dude, I went full time on my current coaching business just over 2 years ago. And like, dude, like within 2 years, like what I've been able to build, the life that I'm now living, the person that I've become, like 2 years is not a long time to actually change and overhaul your entire fucking life. Again, go back to the earliest videos on this channel. Evidence has got the loudest voice, and hopefully watching my journey inspires you to just embark on your own personal renaissance mission. But yeah, 100 direct cold approaches, record the audio of your conversation, just aim to get to that magical 100 number as fast as possible, because once you've done 100, you'll feel completely different, right? You'll feel capable of having cold approach conversations. Like all of those, like the first one is always the hardest, right? But it's like just the best advice that I can give you, go out there to give, right? Just view the reps as the reward. Nobody's allergic to a compliment. Go over to women, have a smile on your face, just go out to give, right? You're not going out there to take. You're not even, the first 100 that you do, it's just batting practice. They don't even count. It's just to get points on the board. Like, don't worry about getting dates or phone numbers or happy endings. It's just the commitment you make to yourself, not to do your best, to do what is necessary. Just get 100 direct call approaches done as fast as possible and see how you feel after those first 100, right? So 100 direct call approaches, do them as fast as possible. If you would like help getting there faster, hey, that's what I'm here for. So 100 direct call approaches, get those done. ASAP, like ASAP Rocky that shit. Now, what's really important as well is whilst you're doing these 100 direct call approaches, is you are putting the reps in to become what I like to call the most fuckable version of yourself, right? The days of being some low-life loser pickup artist who just memorizes lines and routines and masquerades as this personification of perfection, like goes over to women faking being a man of value, like the 5-minute sales pitch. Like those days are gone, right? It's no longer faking being a man of value. It's actually becoming a man of value, like becoming the sort of guy who women actually want to fuck with, like becoming the sort of guy who women actually want to go on a date with. This is why I say to you boys, seduction is sales. Like, how can you give people an offer so good that they would feel stupid saying no? It's like offering someone a Lamborghini for $10,000. Like, fucking hell, that deal's amazing. I want to get involved. Yes, yes, yes. So becoming the most fuckable version of yourself. Again, you can download my free course. I give you everything that I've done to become the most fuckable version of me, like how I went from looking like a turnip, dressing like a moron, to who I am today, which is hopefully better. But yeah, you have to understand, this is really important. Call approach is the ultimate hyperbolizer, meaning it exaggerates the man who you currently are. So if you're a low-life loser who's wanking off into a sock every day, living in your grandma's basement, and you're trying to call approach makes you more weird because it's socially unorthodox in most cities. So like, I would recommend, before you even consider doing your first handful of direct call approaches, just get the basics taken care of. Like, this should be common sense, but common sense is not common practice. Get your fitness and your fashion taken care of, meaning that if you're a fat fuck, if you're overweight, if you're out of shape, if you stink, and if you dress terribly, like, call approach is not going to do anything for you. Like, become the most fuckable version of you, or at least a more fuckable version of you first, and then start putting yourself out there. Like, it's way more efficient this way. Even if it takes you like 1 to 2 months just to get the basics in check, just to get your fitness and your fashion and your finances as well. Like, you want to feel, I think, you want to feel stability in your life. Like, if you're taking women out on dates, it's like, oh, should we split the bill? Like, it's like loser mentality. Like, you shouldn't be dating women if you can't afford them. Anyway, that's a different story. Just becoming a more fuckable version of yourself. Yeah, so just being able to look at yourself in the mirror naked and be like, yeah, I'd do that. Yeah, I'd go on with that. So it's like, do you know what I mean? And again, like, there's no shame. 4 years ago, I wasn't the man that I wanted to be either, but what separates me from most losers is I actually did something about it, right? I said to the universe, I will not do my best, I will do what is necessary. I commit to becoming the most fuckable version of myself, and what do you think happened? My actions aligned with my ambitions. I acted as if I already was the version of me who I wanted to embody, and then I accepted that time, like the compounding effect. So, like, you're not going to wake up tomorrow and just be like fucking jacked, like fucking just like Jackanory to the gills, like social skills on point. Like, like, it's just unrealistic. Like, it's the compounding effect. Yeah. So it's like every single day you're investing into the identity of the man who you want to embody, right? So just ask yourself, what would the most fuckable version of myself do today? He'd go to the gym, he'd train combat sports, he'd go out there, he'd do his first 5 direct call approaches, he would stop consuming so much social media that doesn't actually add to his life, become a connoisseur of content. He would start to quash his negative habits like porn addiction, weed addiction, alcohol addiction, like just removing all that bullshit. That's the mantra that I use, is freedom from bullshit. I don't classify myself as a dating coach. I'm not a day gamer, or I'm definitely not a pickup artist. I view myself as a freedom from bullshit practitioner, and everything that I do is an extension of my freedom from bullshit personality. Yeah, for me, any self-respecting man should be able to go over to a woman who he finds attractive without needing 5 shots of Sambuca down him first. I think the modern man has venomously lost his balls. I think the modern man is lost, is lazy, is misguided. I think cold approach is a catalyst to the rest of our lives. Like, if you can grow a set of balls, go over to women who you find attractive and be like, hey, you're beautiful, want to take you out on a date. Like the rock star confidence which spills over to the rest of your life is insane. So like, as you're on your odyssey of becoming your most fuckable self, like, understand like cold approach is a part of that, because it makes you more of an action taker, a risk taker, a renegade, a maverick, a pirate. It's like 2 middle finger salutes the society that wants to keep you shackled into conformity and marinating in the matrix of mediocrity. So yeah, just before you go out, just get the basics on point. I shouldn't really need to tell you this, but if clothes don't look good on you, like, I've got a video. Just go onto like the homepage of my channel, like how to look good as a man. Super in-depth video there. Like, fucking consume that. But yeah, 100 direct cold approaches. Become a more fuckable version of yourself, because remember, cold approach is a hyperbolizer, right? So if you're a guy and you have been putting in the reps to become a more fuckable version of you, you're starting to dress better, you're starting to get into better shape, clothes look better on you, maybe you've got yourself a nice haircut, maybe you've shaved and your jaw's looking nicer, maybe you've cut down your calories, so now you're starting to look more lean. And cold approach is going to make you more attractive, right? Like, women who you approach are going to be like, I've got a boyfriend, but I really respect the confidence. Like, oh my God, this is so good. This never happens to me. Like, oh yeah, yes, you can have my phone number. Like, I wish more guys did this, right? You only get that feedback when you become the version of yourself who can get that feedback, right? Again, if you're a low-life loser with no value to give, then the feedback you're going to be getting is, sorry, I've got a boyfriend, or they just walk past you, or you just get like these, you basically just creep girls out. Right? Like, it's not the vehicle, it's the driver, right? It's like, cold approach isn't creepy. It's only creepy if you're creepy. It's only weird if you're weird, right? You could be a chess player and you could be weird. Doesn't mean chess is weird, it just means you're fucking weird. So usually people are weird because they lack social experience, right? You don't have social anxiety, you just lack practice, right? So it's like, just get out there more, start talking to people, go to classes in the evening, like dance classes, salsa, bachata, kizomba, improv classes, like go to meetups, go to events, like what you're passionate about. I used to be a magician. I used to go to fucking magic meetings, like a little fucking nerd. Oh, show me your best tricks. But like, it was good, right? It gave me that community. I think a big thing that men lack today is community, is support, is a network of like-minded individuals who actually get them, who are on the same frequency as them. That's why I built the Entourage. That's my private community, by the way. If you don't know about it, start to get to know. Yeah, get more fuckable, right? Get more fuckable. And I don't know you personally, so I don't know how fuckable you currently are. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, rate yourself. Get 100 direct call approaches done. So like, what we're doing here is we're really creating a base, right? So step 0 was figure out what we actually want from this journey. Figure out what we want, then understand it's not what we want, it's what we commit to. Like, who do we need to become? So just getting the ball rolling with this identity transurfing, and then make our actions match our ambitions. Go out there, start approaching. Whilst we are approaching, we're becoming more fuckable. So we're having better habits, better lifestyle. We're investing into ourselves as a man. And then the next step, what we're on now, 0, 1, 2. Step 3, I think, is one of the most important. What is the most important step? I think getting 100 direct call approaches done is probably the most important. Otherwise, it's just wanking in the wind. Do you know what I mean? It's like you could become the most fuckable version of yourself. You could be super clear on what you want, but it's like if you don't actually put the reps in, then it's like working your bollocks off to buy a Lamborghini and then being too scared to drive it. So I think that the action is the most important thing, but it's holistic, isn't it? The next one is environment. Environment, right? Good game cannot make up for a shitty location. Now, the caveat to this is do the best with what you currently have, right? Like if you're living, like I'm just going to use Leeds for as an example because that's the city that I started this in during the pandemic, face mask, social distancing. Like that's all I had at the time at my disposal, right? I didn't have money. I didn't have that great career prospects. I was just a low life loser. So like that was my playground. Leeds was the city that I was prepared to put those reps in. And then, like I say, when the restrictions got lifted, I could go to different cities. So do the best with whatever environment you've currently got. But I do think, and this is just so important, I do think every single person who's serious about living a top 1% dating life should be pushing towards location independence, right? Because for a lot of you guys, you might not be in the city right now that inspires you. Like you might not be waking up every day in an inspired location. You might be working a job you hate in a city that you despise. I've been there. Like before I went full time with this, I was working a dead end 9 to 5 job. It was at the Railway Museum in York. I was a public speaker. I had to show people around a fucking train museum like 6 days a week. Very few breaks, like the pay was abysmal. Anyway, so like I've been there. I've worked shit jobs. I used to clean toilets in a zoo. I used to clean lemur shit off the toilets. I worked in a caravan park. I worked in Iceland supermarket stacking shelves. Like I've put the reps in there. I started from like absolute mud, right? So the way you start is not the way that you finish. But location independence, right? I think for anybody who is serious about building that top 1% dating life, you want to go to locations that you're actually valued, right? Like if I was still living in Leeds, I would be depressed as fuck, right? Like in Leeds, like I didn't find the women that attractive. I didn't feel inspired walking through the Merrion Centre or walking down Briggate, like going past like fucking Mecca Bingo or Cash Converse. Like that didn't inspire me. I was like, well, it inspired me to an extent because like, I need to get the fuck out of this city, right? So are you currently living in a city? Are you currently positioned in an environment which is conducive to your dating desires? Because if the answer is no, dude, you've got one life, right? We get one shot at this particular season, this version of life. If you're pissing away your time in a city that you despise, then like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Like, there's so many ways to make money online. Like you can do like e-commerce, drop shipping. You can build a personal brand like I've done. Like you can do remote high ticket sales. Yeah, again, you don't know what you don't know. Like inside of our private network, the Entourage, we link guys up with jobs. Like there's guys in our network who never even knew what remote high ticket sales were, and now they're getting job interviews for remote high ticket sales. So it's like you don't know what you don't know. But location independence is so important because I think let's say that you're living in Leeds, great. Get your first 100 direct call approaches, get them done. You don't even necessarily need to do them in Leeds, but like in the UK, right? Just get those done. Like just do the best with what you've got. Just get them in, reps, points on the board. Like once you started to develop proficiency, now you're starting to become proficient at cold approach. You see women, you can approach them. Maybe you're going on a few dates. Now you're starting to experience success in advance. You feel more capable. You feel more confident. You feel more creative. You know, life is feeling better. Your next sticking point will be your location, right? Location is everything. Environment is everything. Good game cannot make up for a shitty location. So if you could wake up tomorrow and be anywhere in the world, where would it be? Like, what's the first place that comes to mind? Like, forget about like money, forget about reality, forget about your current situation. Let's just be super like empire visions right now. Because remember, imagination is creation. 4 years ago, I knew I wanted to be living an international lifestyle. Now I can go anywhere that I want, right? It doesn't happen by luck, it happens by design. It starts in here, right? We're living in a fucking simulation. Whatever you want, you can get, but you need to be clear on what it is and you commit to achieving it. It's like, if you could wake up tomorrow and be anywhere in the world, where would it be? Like, not just the country, but like the specific city. So maybe you want to be positioned in Marbella. Maybe you want to be in Rio de Janeiro. Maybe you want to be in Bangkok, like me. Like, Where do you want to be? If you could be anywhere, if you could wake up tomorrow and be in your ideal reality, where would it be, right? Because what that's going to do is it's going to allow you to start feeling what it would feel like to be in that location. That's what leads to the inspiration. Again, imagination is creation. If you study the work of Neville Goddard, he'll talk about living as if the wish has already been fulfilled, right? So like living as though you've already achieved the thing, right? So like imagine that you were now living in Marbella, like feel what that would feel like. Imagine you strutting down the boulevard, making eye contact with beautiful, sexy Spanish senoritas. Just imagine how your life would feel being in that place where you're no longer in your fucking hellhole, wherever you're at, maybe you're in Stoke or Grimsby. So but like, just really imagine where you would be, because that is going to be the next evolution for you. It's positioning yourself in the environments where you find the women attractive, where the women find you attractive. Maybe you can leverage rarity in this particular environment. So when I was living in Rio last year, a big reason why I went to Rio was to practice my Portuguese. I always find it funny when I meet guys when I'm traveling. I'm like, bro, what are you doing here? Oh, I just came I came for the architecture. Oh, I just came to practice my Spanish. You came for the women, didn't you, bro? Yeah. So yeah, I went to Rio because like I found Brazilian women like breathtakingly beautiful. It was my first time in Brazil, and I wanted to position myself in an environment where I had a relative, like my relative value was higher, right? So like leveraging rarity. Yeah. So like in Rio, I was higher up the sexual market value totem pole just because of rarity. It was the same when I coached Ephraim last year in Warsaw, Poland. Ephraim absolutely cleaned up over there. He was going on multiple dates a week, multiple dates lined up in the same day. He'd had more experiences with more women than he'd ever had in his entire life within a couple of weeks in Warsaw. And a big reason for his success was because in Warsaw, he was rare. Like he was one of the few black men in Warsaw who actually had social skills, was well put together, had fitness, fashion, finances, like all those things were in check. So that's why, one of the reasons why he cleaned up. So it's like, where can you position yourself where your relative sexual market value is higher? Go to the places where you're valued. Like, go where you're valued. Like, forget all these bozos online who are like, oh, that's cheating. Like, if you really want to master day game, you have to stay in London. You have to approach around Covent Garden every Saturday at 3 p.m. Otherwise, you're not a day gamer. Don't aspire to be a day gamer, right? I say to people, learn day game, don't become a day gamer. You don't want to be one of those guys strutting up and down Oxford Street with a ripped jeans and a biker jacket on, accusing every woman of being French. It's just a skill that you internalize and then you apply it everywhere and anywhere and everywhere that you go. But location is a massive one, right? Location, location, location. I think that's the name of a TV show. My mum used to watch it. Shout out to my mum. But yeah, environment's everything, okay? So you might not be the man that you want to be right now, and you might not be living in the location you want to be living in, but just do the best of what you've got for now. That's what I did. I got my approaches done in the UK. I learned the skill in the UK. I knew I didn't want to be in the UK forever, but it's like, wherever you go, there you are. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm so grateful to the former version of me who learned the skill in Leeds in the UK. It's like, dude, if I can make it happen in Leeds, then I can make it happen anywhere, especially during the pandemic and COVID, and etc., etc. So the next thing that I've learned after approaching all of these beautiful women and being rejected by many of them, sad, is the importance of how we actually perceive this skill set. So I just said earlier, learn day game, don't become a day gamer. And I think this is where a lot of guys get stuck, right? A lot of guys think that all cold approach is approaching women on the streets, right? Yeah, you can approach women on the streets. The streets are going to give you everything that you need. The streets are like the dojo, right? They're going to give you the foot traffic, the volume, the variety. You're going to learn everything, like objection handling, building resilience, how to overcome rejection, how to manage your own mind, how to approach, how to converse, how to close. You're going to learn everything on the streets, but it's like, don't get stuck just approaching on the streets. Like when we boil it all down to its essence, all cold approach is talking to people. Like this thing that we call game. Game for me is just learning how to get what you want. It's influence, it's persuasion, it's being able to deliver the value that you've built to the world through organic face-to-face conversation. But just because you learn on the streets it doesn't mean you have to stay stuck on the streets. This is why having an international lifestyle or location independence is, I would say, paramount in the modern dating hinterland. Because I think it's like, if you've got both, like if you can cold approach, like i.e., if you could talk to people, like if you could talk to women who you find attractive, and you can also travel, you've got location independence. It's like, dude, just imagine how your life is now, right? It's like you can literally go anywhere, and within a couple of weeks, you can have dates lined up, you can have women in your phone, you can have connections that you make with other guys as well. Like that's another thing about this skill set. It's not just approaching women; it's unlocking the world, right? So it's like, I come to a new city like Bangkok. I don't feel alone anymore. I don't feel scarce. I don't feel like, oh, I'm just gonna stay in my apartment because the world's a big scary place. No, I'm gonna go fucking train Muay Thai. I'm gonna meet other like-minded individuals at the Muay Thai gym. If I go out like in the evenings, like I can strike up spontaneous conversations with strangers. I don't know where those conversations are gonna lead to. Like it's not like, that this is probably one of the biggest paradigm shifts. Not just viewing this as, oh, I need to go out today, I need to do 10 approaches. If I don't do 10 approaches, I'm a piece of shit. And then, oh, I'm going to go back and text my leads. It's like, it just gets a little bit boring. It's a bit like same. So it's like, you've unlocked the skill. Great. Now you can talk to people. Where else can you leverage this skill? You can go to bars. You can go to events. You could go to festivals. You could go to the beach. You could go to like functions, like events that you're passionate about. So maybe you're into music. Great. You can go to live music events and strike up conversations with people there. Like when I used to do magic, I used to go to weddings. I used to get invited to these cool places. And whilst I was there, I could talk to the bridesmaids. Woohoo. So it's like, where can you leverage the skill set? Again, it's just talking to people. That's all that this is, right? And this is why, like, when I see comments online, like, oh, cold approach doesn't work. Cold approach is just for the movies. Oh, cold approach it has zero efficiency. It's all a numbers game. It's like you don't understand. It's not just approaching women on the streets. It's like who you become through this process. And then, okay, cool, I can talk to people now. That's great. You're already in like the top 1% of guys. If you can travel, if you're location independent, and you can talk to women who you find attractive, that you can bring people into your life. It's like, I think very few guys have both, right? Very few guys have location independence and have also become absolute masters when it comes to daytime cold approaches, bringing people into life. When you've got both, that's when, for me, your entire life just explodes. Okay, so just understanding, learn day game, don't become a day gamer. This is a skill that you transfer to every part of your life. It's just bringing people into your life, right? Like fucking, yeah, you're cool. Extending invitations, right? That's a great mindset. You're going out there. Going outside today to extend invitations. You're going to find people who are cool enough to invite into your reality. If like, not everybody's going to like you, not everybody's going to want to be your friend, not every woman is going to want to fuck you, that's fine. You're living for an audience of one. You operate from a place of wholeness rather than from a place of lack. The final thing that I want to share is cool. It's important. Let me just take a sip of water. If you're enjoying this live stream, drop it a like. Tells me that you're appreciating the content. But like I said, I just try to just give as much clear practical advice on these live streams as possible. I want to make my free content better than people's paid like programs or courses or bullshit school communities. Like anyway, it doesn't matter. So the thing that underpins everything that I've spoke about, when I was talking before about becoming the most fuckable version of you, what I've found after working with lots of men and also working a lot on myself is really becoming that guy who women want to fuck with. A lot of times it's about unlearning, right? Because a lot of, like, we already know, like instinctually, we already know, right? It's like we call it in the Entourage caveman game. So it's like me man, she woman. I like that. Me approach, right? So it's like there's so much like overthinking. Like a lot of the guys who I work with, they're like thinking men. They're very cognitive, right? So they think way too many steps ahead. If we can realign ourselves with our biology, this process of unlearning, stripping back these layers of social conditioning so we can connect with our most authentic selves, that's when, in my experience, you're really able to penetrate straight to a woman's fantasies. Like, you become her fantasy by realigning yourself with your biology. So yeah, it's important to improve yourself externally. So like, fucking lift at the gym, train combat sports, do high intensity interval training, dress better, make sure clothes look good on you. Just understand like, okay, what color, what fit, what style. But like a huge part of fuckability is not necessarily the external. It's like it's who you are, right? So like understanding that women have got different attraction triggers compared to men. I heard it's best described by Zan Perion, who said women become aroused through their ears, men become aroused through their eyes. Okay, so what this really denotes is we have different things that turn us on, that get us aroused. So like for women, yeah, they want you to look good, they want you to be the full package, but it's like being the full package. It's like assertiveness, dominance, leadership. Like this is more later on in your journey, because there's acquisition and there's retention, right? So the difference between getting a girl and keeping a girl, like you can get girls temporarily if you've got like, a high level of fuckability, you're well put together. Like what I was saying before, it's like the mask will eventually slip. Like the relationship element, like the retention element, like how do you actually keep these women interested? It's very much your balls, right? It's your frame, it's who you are, not just what you have. So it's like you've heard it before, women can't be turned on by a guy who they don't respect. So it's important that once you start having all of these different experiences with the feminine, that you actually develop your balls in relationships as well. Like I've had so many relationships in my life where I lost myself in that relationship. Like my entire reason for being became that woman, and she lost all attraction for me because I lost all attraction for myself. It's like in the way of the superior man, David Data says, she never wants to be number one. It's like prioritizing your purpose over the punani, right? So it's like purpose over punani. Great, we've got this woman, but like, how do you continue being the man who she fell in love with, right? So it's continuing to work on yourself, setting those boundaries, like not being a pushover. Like when she does something that pisses you off, you call her out on that bullshit. You don't just let it slide. Again, she can't be turned on by a guy who she doesn't respect. It projects your proclivity as a protector. It's like if you can't handle her emotions, what that is biologically conveying is, how's this guy going to be able to protect me and, more importantly, our children, right? So it's like you want to be that mountain that her emotional waves can crash against, and it's like you're stable, you're strong, you're secure. It's like no matter what, you can handle it. Throw me in hell, I'll find a way to enjoy it. That's really important, but that's more like later on in your journey. I think for guys who are just getting started right now, just focus on those first few steps. I think get super clear on what you want. Then what do you commit to? Or even better, who do you commit to becoming? That's great. Then make actions align with ambition. So go out, do your 100 direct call approaches, accept that you might not be the man that you want to be right now, but it's who you're becoming, who you want to be, the compounding effect, investing into the identity of the version of you who you want to embody. So getting those 100 direct call approaches done, simultaneously becoming more fuckable. We want to be becoming the most fuckable version of ourselves, but like fucking Rome wasn't built in a day. So every single day, it's like speed and patience. That's the best way that I can describe. So it's like doing everything you need to do on a daily basis and accepting it may take 2 months, it might take 2 years for you to actually become the most fuckable version of you. But it's like having that obsession with progression and celebrating the small wins, right? Maybe you can lift more at the gym. Maybe now you can have conversations with women for like 20 seconds longer. Maybe today you can finally approach, maybe you did your first approach today. Hey, that's amazing. That's a massive win. So like celebrate those wins along the way. And then be pushing towards location independence. I talk about how I actually did this in my most fuckable man course. So I've got a full module dedicated to living and building an international lifestyle. So if you're interested in learning how I built my international lifestyle, I have a conversation with a good friend of mine, Joseph, who's been doing the international lifestyle for around a decade. So we spit some serious sauce in that conversation, which I hope you boys found valuable. About $2,000 a month recurring revenue is basically all you need to start living internationally. You don't need to be a millionaire to live a millionaire-esque lifestyle. It's just information, it's knowledge, it's what don't I know? What do I believe to be true about the world that isn't? And then overriding your default with new inputs. That's the whole point of these live streams. I'm trying to help you rewire your brain, right? I'm showing you that if I've been able to do it where I started, then there's fucking hope for you as well, right? It's like a man without hope is dead. Optimism is one of the greatest currencies. So that's what I aim to do with these live streams. And then the thing at the end was the difference between acquisition and retention. So continuing to be the guy who she fell in love with. Maybe I'll do a separate live stream on that because that's quite a deep, like in-depth topic. But yeah, that's everything that I've learned so far. There's probably more things that I've learned. But that's everything that I wanted to filter into this live stream. If you enjoyed it, then definitely drop it a like, subscribe to the channel, turn notifications on because I don't have an upload schedule. I just release these live streams whenever I'm in the mood, whenever I'm feeling sprightly. And yeah, if you want to download the free courses, there's links in description. Do that. I really hope that you boys have found this valuable. I hope the audio's good, and I hope that you've enjoyed it, and that's cool. And yeah, just aiming to change lives every single fucking day. So yeah, let's go out there and let's not be the guys that sleepwalk through life and wake up when the best year's behind them. All right, stay sexy, live legendary. I fucking love you. Speak tomorrow.